How's it going, guys? It's Paradise, and we've got some Final Fantasy beginners tips that we really wish we knew before we started playing, so we've got to share them with you guys. But before we jump into these tips, this is your official spoiler warning. There's going to be no spoilers for the story or anything like that, but there is going to be different edits and cuts as I talk about different things that may show a weapon that you don't have or a materia that you haven't seen yet. But there's going to be no story spoilers, there just might be some gameplay sort of spoilers. So beware, if that is not for you, then you can click away now, but otherwise we're going to jump in with these beginner tips. So my first big tip for you guys is that the weapons in this game are actually tied to abilities for the character that uses that weapon. So when you get a new weapon, which you will get quite a few of, you really want to use that weapon until you have the proficiency in the new move that is on that weapon. And then you can swap to whatever you like, whatever your preference is, but as soon as you have proficiency in that weapon ability, you've unlocked that ability for that character permanently. So basically, as you're playing through, do not forget to equip and use those new abilities so that you actually learn them, and then you can jump back on the Buster Sword or whichever one is your favorite. So my next tip for you guys is that once you have it, to use the assess materia. You may want to equip this on Cloud so that you always have it in your active party no matter what point you're in through the story, but you want to be using assess on every single new enemy type you encounter. It's so super useful. It will tell you exactly how you fight that enemy type, what they're weak to, how you build their stagger gauge, what element you should use against them. It also tells you if they have a stealable item, which is also quite important, as some bosses actually have rare stealable items that even include weapons, which, as we just talked about, are tied to new abilities for your characters. So you want to be using assess, you want to be using steal when it's relevant. But assess is going to be really big to learn the weaknesses and to learn exactly how you play against those different types of enemies. In addition to this, later on in the game, you're going to get some battle intel objectives, which will include to scan and assess a number of enemies. So the sooner you start using assess, the more things that you will have scanned and the more easy it will be to finish those battle intel missions later on. And since we're talking about assess, here is a little tip that I didn't realize until later on in my playthrough, and that's once that you've scanned something, you only have to press the pad button on your PlayStation controller to bring it back up. You don't actually have to cast assess again. And this brings me on to my next tip, which is that you do not want to sleep on using magic. This is a Final Fantasy game, so most things have a weakness and a resistance, but magic is still really, really powerful and is going to make a big difference in your playthrough. So definitely start using and powering up and leveling up your magic materia. You unlock different kinds of magic materia as you get through the game. So at the beginning, you might not have access to all of it, but later on as well, there are still very powerful magics you can get. So you want to try and make sure that you're leveling it up as you progress through the game and you get all the different types of magic as well. And again, this will tie into your battle intel missions, which is mastering every magic type. So the sooner you start using it, not only is it going to help you in combat and get through the bosses and the fights, but it's also going to build up your battle intel, which will be very useful later on. Now, this next tip took a bit of getting used to for me because I really enjoyed just playing Cloud a lot. But if you actually do switch between all of your party members, you're going to see a big increase in how much damage you're dealing and how much you can do in the battles. By switching between the different party members, you can build their ATB gauges a lot quicker. You can use their special triangle moves. This is going to be a big important one as well for someone like Barrett. And it also helps you get used to the playstyle for each character because they all play very differently, and that will really help you later on. So definitely try switching between the party members while you're in battle, using their special triangle moves and building up their ATB gauges a lot faster. And before we move on to the next tip, because we're talking about the character's special triangle attacks, we need to talk about Cloud's Punisher stance. Unlike some of the other characters, when you press triangle on Cloud, you will go into this special alternative stance, which will mean you can't dodge roll without leaving the stance, you move really slowly, but your attack is powered up massively. You deal a lot more damage, you build up your ATB gauge a lot faster, and maybe most importantly, you gain an active counter. You simply hold guard to do the counter, and this is extremely useful against any enemies that you're struggling with or have a particular attack that you just can't quite deal with. It will mean that he parries it and hits them for a counter attack, and then you can go into a full-on combo on them. So if you are struggling, do not forget about Cloud's Punisher stance. It's really, really powerful, so definitely try using it. And then for our final beginner tip, do not miss out on the side missions. I understand that everyone has a different playstyle and some people just don't want to bother with side missions. It's totally fine. But in this new Final Fantasy Remake, it's really easy to keep track of side missions, to see if you've missed any, to see what chapter they're in, and some of these side missions reward you with good materia, or even weapons that will give you new abilities for the character that uses that weapon. So if you don't want to miss out on some cool new weapons and some cool new moves, some cool new materia, definitely do your side missions. You will not regret doing them. So guys, let me know down in the comments if these tips helped you guys out, and if you've already got your hands on the game, put your tips down in the comments as well. Drop a like on this video if it helped you guys out, and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're all staying safe out there. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there. If you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with, it's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.